Now let us go to the curve library that you have already created. Okay, so in this case, we have created a plane in between, and then we have created a path between these two planes and another path between these two planes. Okay, and then we have assigned different cross section onto the first path and to the second path. Okay, so in this, if you go to this particular plane and if you go to the properties, then over here you can see that the value is 3 and it is by distance, and then the reference point is start point. Okay, so this means that this particular plane is located at a distance of 3 meters from the starting plane. Okay, so now the distance of this plane from the starting plane is 3 meters. Okay, and next let us go to another curve library that you have created. This is also the same, but there's only one change, that is in the properties of this particular plane. In this particular plane is at a distance of 3 meters from the starting plane. Okay, but the reference point is the end point. Okay, so in this case, as the reference point is the end point, the distance between the end point and this particular plane shall remain same whenever you are applying this to the layout or to the assembly unit. So in this case, the total length of this particular curve library is 10 meters, and this particular plane is placed at 3 meters. Okay, so the distance between this particular plane and the reference point, that is the end point, is 7 meters. Okay, so kindly note this, and now let us try assigning both the curve libraries onto the layout. Okay, so both of these layouts are the same. There is no difference between these both layouts. Okay, so first let us go to the curve library. Let's click on assign, and first let us assign the start point library to the layout. So let us select the layout. Okay, that is currently it is the library with the reference point as start point, and now let's click on the add button. So now you can see that this particular plane is located at a distance of 3 meters. If you go to model and if you measure this, you can see that this is at a distance of 3 meters. Okay, so because this plane was at a distance of 3 meters and the reference point was the starting point. Okay, and now let us just try to understand what happens when the other curve library is assigned. So let's click on assign, and then let us choose the reference point endpoint curve library. Okay, let us select this particular layout and let's apply. So now you can see that the length of the first member got extended. Okay, and now this particular plane, let us just measure the distance of that plane. So if we just go to the starting point and the end point, you can see that the distance is 7 meters. So this particular plane is having a 7 meter distance from this plane to the endpoint, because the endpoint was given as a reference in our case. Okay, so basically what happens in reference point is that the distance between the particular plane and the reference plane shall be kept constant. Okay, so whenever you are using the by distance option. So now we have understood about the reference point.